evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Winchester Main Street's monument lighting ceremony. Let's start this off with a boom. We have Tom Ashley and also Dennis Rigsby from the Centerville, Indiana, Sons of the Union Veterans of the Civil War, firing a cannon directly behind me. Thank you so much for coming together to celebrate the second lighting of the monument and, more importantly, honoring the men and women that the monument stands for. If you will, take a moment of silence while I read a prayer for healing by former President Ronald Reagan. To preserve our blessed land, we must look to God. It is time to realize that we need God more than He needs us. We also have His promise that we could take to heart with regard to our country, that if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. Let us, young and old, join together as did our first Continental Congress in the first step in humble, heartfelt prayer. Let us do so for the love of God and His great goodness, in search of His guidance and the grace of repentance, in seeking His blessing, His peace, and the rest of His kind and holy hands on ourselves, our nation, our friends in the defense of freedom, and all mankind now and always. The time has come to turn to God and reassert our trust in Him for the healing of America. Our country is in need of and ready for spiritual renewal. Today, we utter no prayer more fervently than the ancient prayer of peace on earth. If I had a prayer for you today among these that have all been uttered, it is one that we're so familiar with. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make His face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up His countenance upon you and give you peace. And God bless you all. President Ronald Reagan. Winchester community members, having the community support for lighting up the Soldiers and Sailors Monument is an honor for the Winchester Main Street organization. Thank you so much. Our monument stands at 73 feet high with a 24-foot square base and 4 cannons placed on each side. This is the state's tallest, second tallest monument after the one in downtown Indianapolis. It honors and recognizes the 4 branches of the Union troops during the Civil War: cavalry, infantry, navy, and artillery. By lighting up the Soldiers and Sailors Monument today, we continue to honor them. Please stand for presentation of the colors by Boy Scout Troop 58, sponsored by Countryside Christian Church. Commands given by Vietnam veteran Staff Sergeant Steve Wilson.
Scout, take. Forward, fight! One ready! Up and up! Breathe in, on! Out, one time, mark. Down, hold. Prepare to post. Post collar. One step back, park. About face. Forward, park.
Now please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the National Anthem by the 38th Infantry Division Band. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In recognition and thankfulness to the 38th Infantry Division Band, here is Mayor Bob McCoy to present the key to the city. Sergeant Dean.
We're excited to have members from several of the schools present essays, and so we are going to have an essay read by three of our students. The first one is Henry Terhar from Deerfield Elementary School. You guys can sit if you want.
What Veterans Day means to me. What does Veterans Day mean to you? Veterans Day means a lot to different people. It makes me feel appreciative and think of my family who served. One reason I feel appreciative is because how many people served in our country. That shows that people care about our country that much. Also, I think that it's really important to the people who served. The next reason is I have a neighbor named Paul. He served in World War II. I also have an uncle and he served in the Navy. I'm so grateful for the people who care about our country and give us our freedoms. This is what Veterans Day means to me. It makes me feel appreciative and think of my family members who served. Thank you.
Our next student is Mariah Rittenhouse from Willard Elementary.
What does Veterans Day mean to me? Veterans Day means a lot to me. The reason why Veterans Day means a lot to me is because my great-grandpa was in the military. The military people have so much braveness, selflessness, and they deserve their own parade. They have done so much for us. They sacrificed their lives for us. They care so much about us. I think we should celebrate them by sending them letters and sending them little American flags with chocolate. They have done so much for this country, and I think we owe them because they put their lives on the line for us, for the whole country, and they even put their lives on the line for other countries too. We should thank the ones who are a pilot, a part of the Army, or the military, even in water. No matter what kind of veteran you are, we still appreciate you. People who don't appreciate you all, they are just not nice. I will always appreciate you all. When World War III comes, please be really, really safe. You all have done a really great and wonderful job. I will never forget you all that served in either one of the 4 branches. That is why everyone should appreciate you all, men and women. I love you all a lot.
And then our final student is Alexa Burnell from Driver Middle School.
Veterans Day is a day where West citizens get to honor those who fought for their country. To me, this day has great meaning. It reminds us of who we should be thanking for the freedom and privileges that we now get to enjoy. It's a time that we should use to acknowledge the bravery and strength displayed by those who fought in the harsh state of affairs. Getting to celebrate Veterans Day means that we can show our gratitude for their service. Veterans Day is not just a time of commemoration, it is a time that we can use to truly connect with our history. Being educated on these veterans means that we can get an inborn fondness for the acts that they took for their country. This day inspires the new generation, like mine, to understand just how meaningful it is to have bravery and resilience just like those we are celebrating. It inspires us to be selfless and kind and find new ways we can exhibit those traits. Veterans Day is an important time to accredit veterans and reflect on the overall importance that the day holds.
Good evening. I'm John Stanley, and welcome to the second annual lighting of the Soldiers and Sailors Monument in Randolph County. I have the honor of introducing to you the veteran speaker for this evening. This gentleman served his country for 20 years. He served in Korea, Kosovo, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Please welcome your speaker, First Sergeant Retired Shane Leemaster.
Thank you, First Sergeant Stanley. It's not part of my speech, but everybody here should know that First Sergeant Stanley was my very first First Sergeant back in high school. And I'm a firm believer that it takes one man and one woman to have a child, but it takes a whole village to raise that child. First Sergeant Stanley has been the first sergeant here in Winchester for as long as I can remember. And if anybody has embodied that, it's been him. Not only did he inspire me at a young age of 16, but thousands and thousands of young men from this area in the whole time that he was there. And it was a long time. So if you see First Sergeant John Stanley around your community, thank him, because he's a great American, he's an excellent role model, and he's a fine man. I want to start tonight, thank you. I want to start tonight by thanking everybody involved for this wonderful opportunity to speak here tonight. There's a volunteer committee that has worked for weeks planning and organizing this event as to bring proper attention to the occasion and the veterans of Randolph County. So to everybody that was on that, thank you. Thank you for doing this for me, for all these people, and for all the veterans of our community. Veterans Day is a day of appreciation to honor all who have served this great nation, and by doing so, has kept her free. A day to show gratitude for the service and sacrifices that veterans suffered along the way. As the saying goes, all gave some, and some gave all meaning the ultimate sacrifice. Today, we remember all veterans, from those who came before us, to those who gave all, to those who are standing ready right now around the globe, ready to fight and do whatever it takes so that tonight we can all sleep in peace. I want to speak briefly about what it means to volunteer to serve or to be drafted. When you volunteer, you might get a choice of your first duty station, but you don't get a choice how long you stay there. You don't get to choose where you might deploy. And you don't get to choose whether or not you agree with the conflict you may find yourself fighting in. The only choice you get is to serve, to be a patriot of this great nation, to fight to continue the freedoms that our forefathers fought for, the choice to lay down your life so the American dream can continue. Although every era of our nation's military history is significant, tonight I want to focus on one era, the Vietnam era. It's my personal goal to let every Vietnam veteran know that the men and women on active duty today really appreciate you Vietnam veterans. You all got treated like trash when you came home, but America learned a lesson. And because of that, the veterans of my generation get a parade every time we come home, a day of appreciation and recognition of our service, something the veterans of the Vietnam era didn't get. I served 5 tours between Kosovo, Afghanistan, and Iraq, and therefore I have 5 of those homecoming parades because of all you Vietnam veterans. So I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your service. I want to thank you for your sacrifice. And I want to say to all the Vietnam veterans, welcome home. I also want to say a very special thank you to all the spouses and family who supported their veterans during their service. The spouses and the children have the toughest role in the military lifestyle. For those of you that don't know, when we deploy, our spouse takes on a complex role of dealing with everything from our absence to the stresses of the inherent hazards that we may face while deployed. Basically, they do everything. It takes a very special person to be a military spouse. And the spouses are not alone. The kids also know what's at risk at all times. Day in and day out, they live their life with fear of knowing that they could lose a parent who is fighting for the freedom of this nation. It's a hardship that deeply impacts them for the rest of their life, an emotional battle that causes change that they will always struggle with, not to mention the sheer fact of losing the simplicity of just being a child. I'd also like to take a moment to give a special shout out to all the first responders, police, sheriff, and fire departments who unknowingly give a sense of security to veterans as we leave our families. While the military keeps the fight off our soil, you keep our neighborhoods and communities safe. So thank you. As I wrap up this tribute to all who served in the U.S. military, it's my personal prayer that every one of you will now join the most important army, God's army. Only two defining forces have ever volunteered to give their life for yours: Jesus Christ and the American veteran. So I want to say again, thank you to all who have served. Thank you for your selfless service. Thank you for your bravery. May God bless you. May God bless your family. May God bless all of Randolph County. And may God bless these United States of America. Now let's prepare to light this beautiful and historical monument that honors all veterans. Thank you.
Thank you guys again so much for coming out tonight. We really appreciate it. This is truly an amazing and unforgettable evening every time, and this is only the second one we've had, so we really appreciate you. I am Jennifer Tarter, president of Winchester Main Street, and I just want to thank everyone tonight for coming and showing your support. In closing, I'd like to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude to those who made this evening possible. First, I'd like to thank our keynote speaker, Shane Leemaster, AMP Construction, DJ Rich, the incredible 38th Infantry Division Band, Randolph County Commissioners and their courthouse staff, Falcon Industries, the City of Winchester, Winchester Mayor Bob McCoy, the Winchester Street Department, the Winchester National Guard, Joe Burcham, Thomas Ashley and Dennis Rigby, the Boy Scout Troop 58 and Steve Wilson, Kevin Shook of Global Media Enterprises, Randolph County United, North Block Coffee, Empire Title, Happily Ever After, Start With Art, and Cobalt Civil. I would also like to thank our historical guides, Elizabeth, Leslie, and Ted. You may have seen them around this evening. And our awesome essay winners who were so brave and did amazing to come up here and read their essays, Henry, Mariah, and Alexa. You guys did so great. And of course, I could not end the night without acknowledging the efforts of my, as Shane said, our dedicated committee. We have been working really hard. Without your hard work and passion, none of this would have been possible. Thank you again to everyone who for being here. Please have a wonderful evening, safe travels, and we can't wait to see you at our next event. Thank you.